What's up, everyone? Hope everybody out there is off to a great week. Today, I want to talk about the IHRA and its new short track racing series here with the late models. Also, the acquisitions of the racetracks. I've waited a couple weeks to talk about this right here because I want to see if there was any other developments. Damn sure enough, Rockingham, big development with everything. They also purchased Memphis Motorsports Park. We're going to talk about all this. We're going to talk about the series itself, dive into some of the cool things with the rules, and also take a look at the history, because man, there's some lawsuits, there's a lot of money spent at Rockingham in the past. Want to take a look at that and buy some big names, cool stories. But also, what does this mean for other racing series like the CARS Tour, which is basically a Southeast-based race series in the late models? And here comes the IHRA, which is going to be based in the same place. And also for NASCAR, because let's face it, NASCAR, we saw the lawsuits, how they don't like working with competing series or anything like that. But yet in 2026, one of their races is taking place on a competing series-owned racetrack. Could it be the end for Rockingham and NASCAR after this year? Only time will tell. But I want to start out here with the CARS Tour, with this situation. Because CARS Tour, we all know, is owned by Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Justin Marks, Jeff Burton, and a well-established, a great development series for people coming up through. But interesting things is that these races take place in North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Virginia. 15 races over the season, all televised on Flow Racing and established here in the Southeast. Now we got the IHRA who's coming in with their series right now, and we're going to take a look at the rules. Again, different things with this, but they got 8 races on 6 different racetracks, one a month, and taking place in Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and the farthest race at Salem Speedway in Indiana. But again, taking place in the same exact area that the CARS Tour is taking place at. And the interesting parts about this is the IHRA has got a new owner. This is Daryl Cattell, and he stated he wants to work in collaboration with these other racing series. It's not a point to put any of these racing series out of business or anything like that. But I got questions because there's a lot of things with this that you got to consider. And one of the things with that right now is the drivers coming up through. This is going to be a cost-effective series. That's what the principal points of this right here, affordable grassroots racing series, get into. Obviously going to be cheaper than what the CARS Tour is. They've got their own media platforms and things they're going to be doing here. So got to look. Our drivers going to be looking to go to this series for a more cost-effective avenue and possible bigger future, but also sponsors. Our sponsors are going to come in and want to go to this right here because of it being a more affordable series across the board. I'm going to state this right now. I am a big fan of Zmax for various reasons, and here's one.
So that cycle of savings we talked about gets even better with age. Subscribe, save, Zmax.
So Zmax being a sponsor out there with the CARS Tour, kind of on board with them. I got a contract with them throughout this year. I've been with them since 2021 as far as on the media part here. So, hell yeah, I'm a CARS Tour fan. But again, it's going to be interesting what sponsors do, what drivers do, and everything else coming forward. But to get to this series with the IHRA, it's got some crazy things, man, and it's affordable coming in. And what they're looking at is it's one of the largest purses in grassroots stock car racing. You can see right here, $2 million in the purse. Also, they got a rules package which prioritizes skill over a budget, something we don't see a lot right now, and with an affordable entry point as well. Affordable, well, not for me, but affordable for a lot of other people. But again, it also has its digital coverage through the IHRA digital platforms, also Speed Sport and other media partners. So good ways for sponsors and drivers to get their names out there and everything that goes along with that. But here's the interesting parts with this is the rules package with it, because both divisions are going to run American Racer tires, and these are $750 a set. They get one set to race on, one set to practice on. Other part that's pretty cool with this right here is if your tires don't got a lot of wear on and tear on them, you can use them for practice for the next race, which will be economical for the race teams. They have 3 engine packages in the late model Sportsman series. This is going to be a Chevrolet CT 525, the Ford D347 SR, or a HMS Enforcer engine. And the Pro late model Sportsman has got the Chevrolet 604 or a Ford equivalent. But this is, again, where it gets into more cost-effective ways. No bump stops. There's no coil binding. They have a set of 4 shock choices for the front, 4 choices for the back. These are AFCO, and they cost around $390 a piece. And, again, affordable points for them right here. A lot of other series don't have. And then you take a look at the licensing right here. Look at that right there. Owner driver, $300 for your license for the year. And then also the entry fees, $125 to go out there and enter into these races. So again, when you look at the cost effectiveness of tires, shocks, entry fee, licenses, things like this, they're kind of putting this out there as this is a more affordable late model series to run in. And another interesting point, they put the Sportsman name onto the series. They got the late model Sportsmans and the Pro Late Model Sportsmans, where a lot of others are just called the late model stock series. So interesting things that they're doing all the way around to make this interesting to people and already attracting some people, including Jeremy Mayfield. Take a listen.
I hear we may be seeing you in the IHRA in 2026.
Yeah, possibly. I know Tim real well. Tim was a good friend of mine. He's running the series, and met Daryl today. Great guy. I've watched a lot of his stuff on YouTube and stuff. So it seemed like they got a good deal going, and could be a great thing for racing, short track racing for sure.
So only time's going to tell how much the IHRA impacts the racing series around here right now. I will say this, Daryl Cattell, who owns this series, has a motto, and that is make it happen. And that's damn sure what he's doing, because he's getting into all kinds of stuff, increasing the purses in the IHRA through drag racing, I guess tractor pulls, speedboat racing. He's out there to make it happen, and hands-on. So going to be interesting. But now we got to take a look over here at Rockingham, which, again, he purchased. Also, Memphis Speedway, as we had mentioned. But, man, the history of this racetrack right here is mind-blowing, because not sure what he paid for this right now. Some numbers out there are $12 million. That's just speculation. But the previous history, this track sold in 2018 for $2.8 million. And when you hear some of the numbers that this track sold for previously, it's wild, and this was between legendary NASCAR owners and track owners. And this goes back to 1995, because Bruton Smith and Roger Penske both bought into Rockingham Speedway back then. Both were partial owners. Roger Penske and Bruton Smith, they both wanted the track to themselves. So Penske went out there and offered $29.4 million to purchase the racetrack. Bruton Smith, SMI, countered at $48.3 million. Roger Penske come back at $41 million. Which Smith countered again at $72 million. But the track owners at that time, they feared that if Bruton Smith and SMI bought this racetrack, that it would be abandoned like what they had done at North Wilkesboro Speedway. So it ended up selling to Penske. That brought about a lawsuit by Bruton Smith right here. And through all this, he ended up being awarded $3.6 million in damages. But eventually there was another lawsuit called the FERCO lawsuit, which was by a minority owner in Speedway Motorsports, who basically sued NASCAR and ISC, who was now a partner with Roger Penske, for violating an implied agreement for a second date at Texas. So again, that was the point. Get this racetrack. Let's move a date. But eventually that suit was settled. Everything took place there, and Texas got its second date, and SMI bought the track for $100.4 million. So it's crazy to think that somebody could buy this track for $2.4 million when other people are out there spending hundreds of millions of dollars to purchase the same piece of property. You'd think it would have went up in price over the years. That wasn't the case. And the tax value of this racetrack is like $4.6 million or something like that. So interesting aspects, but they're going to do a lot of things out here to improve it. But the question again is NASCAR going to work with the IHRA to keep NASCAR at this racetrack? And what is the future for the IHRA as far as stock car racing? Because what I see is a series that's basing itself in the South right now, when it could put this series anywhere across the country. And it kind of feels like it's getting back to those roots that NASCAR sort of lost with getting away from the South and spreading itself everywhere else. So is that what our IHRA is doing right now, is building a series based off of what worked for NASCAR originally, and going to continue to grow. Only time's going to tell. But I want your opinions on all this. Do you think it's going to affect and these other series. It's great for the fans. We're going to have a hell of a lot of racing to watch this year on these short tracks, and you know I'm a short track racing lover. And so throw them comments down below. I want to say this just to close out. Prayers are still with the Biffle and the Hamlin families. And, man, let's just hope for a great 2026. And some great racing, some great news, and a lot of goodness instead of what we had here recently in the past. But once again, hope you're having a great week out there. Thanks to all the new subscribers, people that comment. I love it. And I'm here all year, so join me. Once again, have a great week out there. And as always, we'll see you at Checkered Flag.
Yeah, I'm the host of that racing show.